What's good, everybody? I appreciate you checking in. All right, AP made it official a couple days ago that Aiden O'Connell's and get his first start of the season against the Steelers in our Week 6 matchup. And I kind of want to come on here and touch on that a little bit, give you my opinion of what kind of went down. Really, ultimately, Gardner Minshew started the first 5 games. It didn't go as smoothly or as well as people expected or wanted to. And so I want to kind of break this thing down and give you my opinion as to why I think Gardner Minshew, one, lost the job, uh, why I think it was time that Aiden O'Connell did get the start, and what are my expectations of Aiden O'Connell for the remainder of the games. Right, it's still early. We're 3-2. It's still early in the season. There's still opportunity to kind of pull this thing together, but there's a lot of road bumps and obstacles in our way to even have a chance at making the playoffs. And so I kind of want to dive into this and kind of give you my opinion of the entire situation. So, but before we get into it, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications. My next giveaway is at 4,000 subscribers. And one thing I do want to touch on is Big Joe 7991. You were one of my givers of my previous giveaway. You got to reach out to me. Dennis Colada, you emailed me. I got you your giveaway. We are good. I appreciate you. But Big Joe 7991, make sure you email me at realraider805@gmail.com. Email me so I can give you the directions. If I don't hear from you by this Saturday, I'm going to have to pick another winner for that giveaway. So hit me up. Make sure you email me at realraider805@gmail.com. So again, I appreciate everybody, all my viewers, all my subscribers. I appreciate you. But my next giveaway is at 4,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you do know when I hit the 4,000, when my next giveaway goes down. And so let's kind of dive into this, right? Gardner Minshew, he lost the job. And yes, turnovers were an issue, but I broke down every single game film up to this point. And I go through the entire film. And, obviously Gardner Minshew gave us that veteran presence, which was good, which we had to it was good to have, knowing that we were going to have, or we were expecting to have, a good defense. So we wanted that veteran presence to kind of start the season and get on a roll to start this season. So I think that's what we wanted, and it didn't pan out that way. We also wanted a quarterback that was going to be a little bit mobile. And I'll be honest, I really don't think Gardner Minshew was using his legs very well. When he tried to scramble, he dropped his eyes. He didn't look downfield. He wasn't as mobile as we wanted him to. Now, mind you, our offensive line has not performed very well at all. And so it didn't help the situation. But one of the more important things was I was going to give Gardner Minshew 5 to 6 games. I've said this ever since the offseason. I was going to give Gardner Minshew 5 to 6 games to really start to understand this offense. It's one thing to run the offense in the preseason with the pre-games. It's one thing to run the offense, during practice in the offseason, but it's another to kind of get your rhythm and understand this offense in real game situations. So I was going to give him 5 to 6 games. And last week was the 5th game. We're going into our 6th. And one of the things that I saw in the game film is that he just was not finding the open receivers. There was a lot of times, multiple times throughout the games, where there are open receivers. Luke Getsy is running plays where the open receivers are there. And Gardner Minshew just doesn't find them, doesn't see them for some reason. And there are times, and I pointed out these last few weeks, that there's times where Gardner Minshew, he looks at his first read and it is wide open. He just doesn't pull the trigger. And so some of the reasons why I think Gardner Minshew got the job was because, one, veteran presence. We haven't seen too much of an advantage there when it comes to the games. His mobility. And again, not seeing too much mobility. Yes, he ran a little bit last game, got some first downs, which is good, but not enough to really change the momentum of the game. And that's one of the things that when you're a mobile quarterback, when you can use your legs and it's a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and you get that first down with the legs, that's a massive advantage, especially when you have an offensive line that's struggling a little bit. It's a massive advantage. But unfortunately, Gardner Minshew just hasn't shown that. And 3, I want Gardner Minshew to have a good grasp of the offense. And again, by looking at the offense and watching how the offensive plays develop, the open receivers are there, and Gardner Minshew just isn't seeing it. And in addition to that, I think he's thrown too many interceptions up to this point. You want a quarterback that's going to protect the ball, whether it's a batted pass or what have you. It happens. But if you collectively look at all the turnovers, you just don't want as many turnovers as Gardner Minshew has either thrown or has been responsible for up to this point. And so, as of right now, to me, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of make that switch at the quarterback position and see what Aiden O'Connell truly has moving forward. Because Gardner Minshew just has proven that he just hasn't gotten he doesn't have a good grasp of the offense as it stands right now. And the reasons why I think he got the start in the first place, it just hasn't shown that it's given us that this offense really any advantage up to this point. So I agree it's time to kind of move on and really see what Aiden O'Connell has as a starting quarterback in this offense. And now next, I want to break down why I think it is time, why I think it's time for Aiden O'Connell to start, right? There's a lot of chatter going back and forth as to why Antonio Pierce made this move. And some people say that it's Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams wanted Aiden O'Connell. And this is Antonio Pierce's way of potentially trying to have Devontae Adams stay as a Raider. Now, I don't think Devontae Adams is going to stay as a Raider. I mean, the moment you go out and you say that you want to trade, he hasn't publicly said it, but his camp has come out. NFL and ESPN beat writers have come out and said that Devontae Adams has requested a trade. I mean, when you do that, there's really no going back from that. Now, I can't remember a time in the past where a player has come out and said they want to trade and then they ended up remaining on the team. Again, I just can't remember. So chat, let me know down below. You know of a situation where a player has reportedly come out and wanted a trade, requested a trade, and they ultimately ended up staying with the team. Let me know, because I don't remember one or can recall of one that's gone down. But, why is it time? And ultimately, I think we know what Gardner Minshew is, right? Gardner Minshew is most likely not a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, right? He hasn't had much of a chance. He's jumped from team to team to team, from offensive scheme to offensive scheme. I mean, it's tough. He hasn't had a true chance to be that solidified starter. Most starters, when you come in like a rookie quarterback, you get 2, maybe 3 years before you pull the trigger. And Gardner Minshew has been provided that. So it's tough. But I think we know what Gardner Minshew is. And so it was time to technically move on, right? Because in my opinion, I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell is the answer. I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell is going to all of a sudden be this Super Bowl caliber quarterback. That's not, I don't, that remains to be seen. Now, what Aiden O'Connell has is Aiden O'Connell has mental toughness. What he went through last year, and he didn't break at all. The team continued to stay behind him. He's got mental toughness, and that's what you want out of a quarterback, right? To lead this offense. He protects the football pretty well. Yeah, he's had some hiccups here in the time that he's had, not only in the preseason, but also the limited time he's had in the games. He's thrown a couple interceptions, which is tough. But, last year he protected the football very well. So if he can kind of get back to that, that's what we need out of a quarterback in this offense is we need someone that's going to protect that football. So, but more importantly, the verdict is still out whether or not the franchise quarterback is on this roster. A lot of people think it's Aiden O'Connell. But the verdict is still out. And so for me, I want the largest sample size possible of Aiden O'Connell starting today. I want to know if Aiden O'Connell is truly the quarterback of the future. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to guess. I want to know. And the only way that you know that is if you put him in the game and you get that real playing time situation out of him. And so that's what I want to see. I want to see real playing time and as much as possible. Because if he's not it, we know Gardner Minshew's not it, right? That's why we're moving on. But if he's not it, then now we know we have to go into this offseason and either acquire a franchise quarterback through the draft or go after a big name free agent quarterback. I mean, that's our only options at this point. And so, but we have to know. We got to know. And the only way to do it is if we get Aiden O'Connell in the game and get the largest sample size possible of what Aiden O'Connell can truly do. Now, mind you, he had, I think it's a total of 11 starts so far. So he understands the NFL. He understands what it takes to be an NFL quarterback, but he's still young and he's learning the game. And so we just need more. We need to see more out of him to know definitively, is he the guy of the future? Because if he's not, that is going to dictate what our moves are in this offseason. So I want, as much as I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell is the answer, and I think he has some good attributes to allow him to thrive in this NFL, in the NFL. I just can't tell you whether or not he is it. And so I want the largest sample size possible. So let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think Aiden O'Connell is the answer? Do you expect him to come in and solidify himself as a starter, not only today, not only towards the tail end of the season, but the future starter for our Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, what are my expectations of Aiden O'Connell now that he's been named the starter? What are my true expectations? And this is hard. I'm going to expect that it's going to take him a game or two to kind of get the ball rolling and get into that full starter mentality, I guess. Because, look, yes, he's gotten into some games this season so far, but the problem is that he's not getting the number one reps throughout the entire season so far, right? Gardner Minshew has been getting the number one reps. So Aiden O'Connell, he's got to kind of get that timing down with the receivers. He's got to get his mindset right and his head right of now you are the starter. And so I'm going to give him a game, possibly two, to kind of get his feet wet and just kind of get the ball rolling with this offense. And so I'm going to give him that because I gave Gardner Minshew 5 to 6 games. I'm going to give Aiden O'Connell at least a game or two to kind of get the ball rolling. And look, he's going against a good Steelers defense. And so if he goes out and has a bad game, I'm not going to all of a sudden throw in the towel and say Aiden O'Connell is trash, okay? I'm going to give him a couple games to kind of get his feet wet. Now, in addition to that, the one thing we have to take into consideration is we still have so many question marks on this offense outside of the quarterback position. And I mentioned this when I went live on Tuesday, is that what's really difficult is we have so many moving parts in this offense that it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Aiden O'Connell to work with a bunch of offensive players that are playing new positions. Jacoby Myers is now the number one receiver. This is going to be his third game, kind of dialing himself in this offense as the number one. He's been working all season in the first 4 games as the number 2 receiver. Now you're playing a whole different position. Trey Tucker was the number 3 receiver, more slot, more deep ball guy. Now he's working out more as the number 2. So that's another receiver that's trying to work himself in a different position. It's like learning the offensive playbook all over again. And then Michael Mayer has been out. And we just elevated John Shanker as the 3rd tight end. So Harrison Bryant is working more in where Michael Mayer was playing. And so he's now playing somewhat of a different role. Now, John Shanker, he's coming in, and now you got to get some timing down with him because I think he's now playing a different role. And so there's so many moving parts. And then in addition to that, we got 2 rookies. We got 2 rookies on the offensive line out of Jackson Powers Johnson and DJ Glaze. And so the protection is going to be very suspect. And we've seen that. We've seen it in the past where, we went up against a really good Broncos front 4, and Jackson Powers Johnson, he kind of had his welcome to the NFL rookie moment. Their interior defensive line kind of took it to him, and then you got TJ Watt that's going to see DJ Glaze. It's going to be difficult, and so Luke Getsy is going to have to dial up a scheme that's going to help Aiden O'Connell within this offense. And there's so many moving parts and new pieces to it that we're going to have to give Aiden O'Connell time. We're going to have to give him time to potentially excel in this offense because it's just difficult to kind of put an offense together and have it fire on all cylinders when you have so many pieces moving around and so many new pieces playing new positions. And so I'm going to give it some time like I would any other quarterback. So now at the end of the day, no matter how this turns out for Aiden O'Connell, at the end of the day, we will know who he is by the end of the season. We'll know what kind of quarterback he is or have a good idea. Some of you might think he's the answer, and some of you might think he's never going to be a starting caliber quarterback in the league. But this is the situation we're in. This is a situation that we're in. We have to do our due diligence. We have to understand who is Aiden O'Connell and can he be the future? Because if you don't do that due diligence, if you don't do your own internal homework on your own internal players, then you're just not doing your job. And so we have to know what we have out of Aiden. We have to know who Aiden O'Connell is and what his potential is moving forward so that we can go into this next year's offseason and make the right decisions, make the right moves to move closer and closer to a potential franchise quarterback. So that's kind of my take, guys, on this whole situation. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think Aiden O'Connell is going to be it? Do you think he is going to be that franchise quarterback? And do you think he's going to thrive and really be that quarterback that's going to help us get on that winning track for the remaining rest of the season? Let me know in the comment section down below. So I appreciate you sticking with me. Again, these are just my thoughts. So if you can, hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications. Next giveaway is at 4,000 subscribers. And then once again, Big Joe 7991, make sure you email me at realraider805@gmail.com so I can get you your giveaway. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to pick another giveaway winner this weekend. So please email me so I can get it out to you. But either way, guys, I'll be dropping my breakdown of our matchup against the Steelers, kind of my keys to victory, some of the things that I'm watching for throughout the game. So look out for that Saturday morning, but turn that notification bell so you do know when I drop that video and I hit you with more content. So I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.